allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could we have a roll call?
Edward Trupp,
Here.
George Winter,
Here.
Michael Kenny,
Here.
Frank Ross,
Here.
Jamie Goldman,
Here.
Ron Bryant,
Here.
Chairman Frank Meyer.
Here.
Chairman Frank Meyer. Chairman, we have the quorum.
And the next item of business is the approval of the agenda. It's a long agenda. We'll have to keep it on schedule here, or we'll have a late evening.
I
But-
move to approve the agenda.
Just point of order, just correct the date at the top of the right.
There's a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion?
No second yet.
No second yet.
No second.
No second yet.
Second as amended.
Okay, we have a,
Chairman, we have a
motion.
request to reorder the new business. Applicant for 102 South Fourth has requested to be brought up to be first on the agenda because he has to leave to go to another meeting for media coverage.
okay.
And I'll move to approve it as amended.
As amended.
As amended.
Any further discussion? If not, those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's the agenda that for the evening. The next is the approval of the minutes from the 15th of February and the 27th of February. First, let's consider the February 15 minutes and do them separately. Which one did you go for?
I'm sorry?
Which?
Move to approve.
102, the sign 102 South Fourth.
Okay.
Motion and a second.
A motion and a second to approve the minutes of 15 February. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. The next item is the approval of the minutes for the 27 February meeting.
I move to approve the February 27th minutes.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes of the 27 February meeting. Is there any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we'll get into the new business then, and the first item is that we want to move up the COA for 102 South 4th Street, the request for a business sign. And who is representing that? Okay.
Okay. For some of those who don't know me,
Let them come to the, sit at the table. Let them sit at the table.
my name is Gary Whitener, and what we're doing is we're asking for a request.
If you'd like to, sir, if you could sit at the table, I think we might be able to hear you better.
Okay, my name is Gary Whitener. I'm with the Board of Directors of Channel 798. And I've been with them since January, or June of last year. What we're proposing is a sign that is would be located across from City Hall. I don't know whether, Brenda, have you distributed a illustration of what it's going to look like? We're not changing anything other than there was original light there. And all we're doing is putting a post up there, and it will be an event schedule. It'll have the 798 as illustrated on it. We will not have electricity on it. It's just whenever the people come in on 4th Street, they'll be able to see the sign, and we'll have a list of events, like a bulletin board, what's occurring in Jura Fett, the time, all of this. And it'll be on both sides. The dimensions are as follows. I think you'll see it. But we're not changing anything, but just putting a sign up there and letting the public know as they come in what's happening in St. Genevieve County. That's part of our program in promoting 7 and 98 also. But do any of you have any questions at all about this?
You said it was not going to be lighted?
That was
No,
my
it's not
question.
going to be light.
Yeah. Okay.
Who is going to be responsible for changing the items on the,
798, the board will have to appoint somebody to make the changes necessary. People will call in, or different organizations will call in, and we'll put those up there on the board.
What size lettering is it going to be?
About 6 inch.
About 6 inch?
That's about all the space we have for that type of sign. We don't want to make the signs big, that it just overshadows everything.
Yeah.
Magnetic, or you going to clip it?
No,
or-
there'll be panels, just like you see a
Those commander boards.
service station. You know,
Right.
they put their sign.
So there'll be 3 lines of wording across it, or possibly
Probably 4.
4?
Lines. The top portion, you'll see that, you know, of course, it has our logo, viewer supported, and then upcoming community events, we will have that permanent. And then we'll have the other lines down below it, where we can change the copy as needed. Okay, and it will be on both sides, so when they're coming and when they're going, they'll see it on that side. We also have an arrow down there to let them know that where we're located, our TV studios. It'll point to our station studios, okay, there in City Hall. Did you all have any questions? I tried to give you an illustration of how it would look on the street. This is in color if you would like to look at it in color. Pass it around.
It's been approved
Looks
by the
pretty.
city.
Where
It's
is
within the sign ordinance.
One thing that we did add to it, to try to add a little flavor to it, is we put the fleur-de-lis, and put a little sign above it to show that, you know, we are a community with that type of logo on it.
Any colors, black and white, or?
He's got the.
Yes, I've got a color. Let me just pass it around. Show you. It'll be our station colors, of course,
Okay.
and then the lettering will be white, or black, white background.
I think that'd be a great community service to have that up. Maybe save some people from having to get
Oh, yes.
those banners that they.
Right, it will eliminate some banners on up, but yeah, it'll eventually become a standard marquee
Yeah.
for events that's coming into the community, you know.
it does block the view of the church somewhat as you're coming in, but overall, I think the concept is good.
Or anything you put up there, we had the lights up there, I think, at one time, we took them down, and those lights still block the church too, so it's not gonna be that much, I don't think, of a visual interference with the church.
Whose property is it on?
The rock quarry
Right.
union.
The union has, they've already approved it.
Like a
They've already-
lease for so many years, or they just said they approved it?
They went ahead and approved it as long as we wanted it. It was approved last Thursday.
Well, it's going clear down there.
Yeah, I think most of them block.
I think we need it. I think it's a good idea.
How high? It's 12 feet up in the air.
Yes.
12 feet off the ground. 12 feet to the bottom.
If it were a little bit
Yeah.
lower, would it not block as much? And we'd still be able to see?
The only problem, the lower you get, then you've got kids and people coming up there
that's true.
Yeah,
grabbing the letters. And
Exactly.
we wanted to avoid all of that.
I think when you come into that, you're looking at the stop sign anyway. You're not really gawking at the
Exactly.
church, and we're hoping you're looking at the stop sign, so
Right.
I don't think
Yeah.
you really, and if you're walking, you're gonna get closer to it anyway.
I'd like to entertain a motion to approve this application for the sign.
One comment. Shouldn't we get a letter for the file from the union?
Yes.
that's probably not a bad idea, yeah.
So just-
What is that?
A letter from the union saying that they're okay with it?
Would
They
you-
would be required to provide that with a building permit.
Right. We would have to show that, and we also have historical society.
But this has been run by the city, and the city approves the sign.
Well, this is the
We're-
first step, but
we're-
after this, they get the building permit.
Yeah,
There's no review for a sign that complies with the existing code. It just.
Okay, I just want to make sure we say it's okay. It isn't okay to do it. It's looked into.
Mhm. that's fine.
Well,
Let's vote. Well, I second it.
You have a motion
George?
and a second.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? If not, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very
Looks
much.
like a
I assume we'll be,
good addition to the city.
Yeah,
Good idea.
Probably, if you got no idea, till next month.
next month. Good.
Thank you.
The next item will be an application for 383 Jefferson Street.
I'm Gary, I'm the owner of Somewhere in Time Bed and Breakfast, and that's where we live also. So we're trying to change our basement window to have a 4-foot access for, primarily that's our tornado shelter also when we have guests. And one of our concerns we've had with it is that our, some of our guests that are, if we have a tornado siren, they come in there and if for some reason our escape to the normal stairway is blocked, then this would give us an opportunity to get some of our guests out. Some of our guests, like this last weekend, we had somebody who was a Vietnam veteran and he had to walk around on a cane. He wouldn't be able to get out of the without a great deal of difficulty getting out, and so we thought this access. And then also, we wanted because we live in there, we can get out now, but Mary and I are getting older, and so we figured the easier it is for us to get out, the better.
Are there state or
I think this is
code requirements that it has to meet?
I think this egress window meets the international egress law.
Yeah, there it is.
And so it's a 4-foot, as I sent on the application, it's 4 foot, it's gonna be like 4 foot tall, and
Yeah.
I think the escape route's gonna be right around 30 inches, wide, so. But it does meet the international egress law for fire escape from a basement.
yeah.
That's
A ladder there, and they come up.
There is
with-
when we have to put in this,
Well.
a well, thank you, I couldn't think of it.
Yeah.
But there is a ladder that comes with the well, that comes in, I think it's 20-inch sections. We'll need like, at least 2, I'm thinking we'll need about 2 of them, and there'll be 2 rungs on each section.
You need 'em.
Sir?
Is there a closet in this room where it could be considered a bedroom where it needs to have an egress, or is it just a?
They live in the basement.
We live in the basement. Yeah, there's
But
not,
Yeah.
there's not a closet in this room, no.
Right, does egress have to be, egress windows have to be in bedrooms, but if they're not a bedroom, they don't have to be egress?
But this is our bedroom.
Okay, that's
My
what I was
wife's and my
asking,
bedroom,
right.
yeah, I'm
And what
sorry.
defines a bedroom is if there's a closet in the room. If it's just an open room, you can get away with not calling it a bedroom. I was just wondering, it is your bedroom.
That's where we sleep,
Well,
yeah.
then it's, then it is.
Yeah, that's where we sleep.
Regardless of whether it's required, it's a good idea.
It's a good idea.
Well, in a
yeah.
historical
If we
house,
had
you
to-
gotta look at every other option, you just can't go,
Yeah.
it's been there for this many years, if it wasn't a bedroom, and he could had a way of putting another room for a tornado shelter, it'd be something to look at, but if it's his bedroom,
Yeah.
then it needs an egress window.
Well, I think too that if they're living in the basement, I mean, you can go down and spend time in your basement and come back up, and maybe you're gonna be caught when there's a fire upstairs someplace else. But if you're living down there, it's nice to be able to get out for fire or any other, occasion, and to have an exit there, so.
Gary, will there be a railing or something around so someone don't fall in the hole?
There is, we're getting a cover for it.
Cover.
But there's a grill that we can get, and that's why I'm gonna go with that grill. The prices I got from County Do It Center, they didn't quote the grill, they just put a plastic cover.
Okay.
And so I asked him about the plastic cover, if it would hold the weight of like a kid or something. He said, oh no. So we are gonna get a grill that will come with the cover, and then when we push the cover off, then the grill will help support the weight of, I forgot how much they said the weight would hold.
Now, this window's gonna go from the top existing sill now down? It's
Yes,
not
sir.
gonna go in
It's
the
gonna go down,
Yeah.
yes, sir. It'll
And
be
the-
about 6 inches wider, I think the one is now, and about another 3 feet down.
Okay, and this is on the east side of the building towards the back,
No, it's on the south side, it's on the front of our.
on the front of the
Facing
building.
the house.
Yeah, that one
It's on the
picture, it shows you
Okay,
this,
see, that's where I was thinking, and then
Yeah.
from this picture I looked.
Is there a side window available?
these are the only windows we have right
Yeah.
there in the front.
That's what I couldn't tell
Yeah,
when I
'cause
went by.
I was thinking about that, but then we just don't have that access, because on the other side, on the east side, is like the power lines and
Yeah,
stuff
I
like that.
just didn't say
Yeah.
anything in there, and I was just wondering.
Yeah, no, that's the only windows we have are in the front.
In your occupancy permit, when you got it, when you moved in, was it a bedroom then?
The bedroom was still in the basement,
It wasn't?
but it was in another room.
Yeah.
That also had one.
They would've caught it then,
Yeah.
for your,
Yeah,
they would've caught, you can't have a bedroom with an egress window.
but you've got foliage, right there in front of
Right,
it, that
we
it's
do
not
have
gonna
a
be.
shrub. I'm gonna have to either, I think I'm right on the line where I'm gonna have to move the shrub or replant some more different shrubs in there, but yeah.
Yeah,
So the only visible difference will be they're gonna use a galvanized, to make them galvanized window wells, or?
Yes, sir.
And so that's be the only difference, you'll see just a little bit of galvanized.
And you won't
sticking
even
out.
see it unless you get it behind the shrub.
Yeah, I stopped by and looked,
Or you stand on our porch.
and it's hard to see it because your
Yeah.
property is
Yeah.
so high. But that's the only difference we're gonna see then,
Yes, sir.
is just that little bit of galvanized.
It'll be like 6 inches wider.
Right, yeah. We did one up on, up near the park, we had to put an egress window in a new home, and it's just got a little bit of galvanized
Yeah,
short.
absolutely.
That, just for the sake of your information, that egress window became a requirement in 2006 International Building Code. And it isn't limited to the bedrooms, although if you have a bedroom, it certainly has to have an egress window. It's any below-grade habitable space. And
That-
we have the 2003 code, so it's not in our code, but should we change, that would become part of the code.
The only question I had, it sounds like an excellent idea. Is there a walkway near it so that somebody might step into the window well? It's
No,
all-
there's
been a
not.
problem.
There's shrubs, there's only walkway goes to our front porch. This is about maybe 10 feet
Okay.
away from our porch.
yeah.
10 feet from any walkway. It's our, kind of like we have like little shrubs and different flowers in there.
And you won't even notice it from Lessing, except for your little galvanized piece and
Yeah.
a little decorative, something you'll hide
We
that.
will have that like little cover on it with that support in there.
Now, wasn't this house at one time jacked up, the foundation was replaced?
That's what I was told in 1992.
Yeah, they-
yes, sir.
I was
Yeah, bricked it,
down there to see them when they jacked it up. and-
beautiful home.
Yeah,
beautiful.
really, really nice.
If there are no further questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to agree to this certificate of appropriateness.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, I'll call the question. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming in.
Beautiful home.
Oh, thank you.
or bed and breakfast, you know.
Okay. Are you gonna do this one too?
I think I'm
Okay.
next.
I need to repeat. I need
Did
to-
you and
Yeah.
both,
Jan,
Vicky Ketting and myself will excuse ourselves from voting on this matter since we are both on the board of the Foundation for Restoration.
and Jan,
And Jan,
yeah,
Calls quorum.
yeah. Wow,
Who needs it, the three of you?
yeah.
You still have four?
We still have a quorum.
Four
We
votes?
still have four, so we still have a quorum.
Just has to be unanimous.
So that's Jan, Vicki, and Brent.
That's good.
Good quorum, too. I like it.
Well, the next thing is I'm on the board for the Foundation for Restoration. And I don't know if you've seen our sign, it's at the Kill Schwint House on 198 South 2nd Street. I don't know if you've seen the sign, but it's a wooden sign, and it had just kind of like lettering placed on it, and the stick-on letters, I'm not sure exactly, but they're peeling off. And so what we would like to do is change it from a wooden sign into a metal sign. And the words would remain exactly the same. And we would do both sides, and what we're wanting to do is to have a white background with black letters on it. And so our request is to be allowed to change it from a wooden sign to a metal sign.
Basically the same size
Yes,
sign.
sir. Basically the same. And it's in the same design, we're looking at the same design.
I move to approve it.
I second.
there's been a motion and a second to approve the sign. Is there any further discussion?
I mean, it's just
If
exactly
not-
reverse, same size, everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Too late now.
If not, though,
You don't discuss it after it's been.
those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And let the record show that the three abstained.
Thank you very
Motion
much for your
carries.
time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Gary.
The next is an application for 196 Front Street. It's a demolition request for a structure there. And this is a long story. I was involved in it many, many years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Joe, and that's Pat Donaldson. We own that house there.
We own the house at 196 Front Street. We were trying to do repairs to it and to get it habitable. But after we've had the city through there, and Brenda's been through, Jimmy Jones has been through, Mr. Toma's been through, Cody Donzie, and the structural engineer came through, and it's beyond repair. 3 of the 4 foundation walls are bad, and all of the wood is rotted. They said the only thing that's good on it, well, might be good on it, is the roof. So, we'd like permission to tear it down. I'd like to take it all away and fill it in and make it like a park setting over there.
And I don't know who to ask this, I have a question, but I don't know if you have the answer or who does. In 93, it was
It was flooded.
flooded, and then it was declared a dangerous property then?
It was declared a dangerous property. We tried to get rid of it at that point, and Mr. Marler had bought it, and he wanted to save it and the building next to it. And so that became a long, involved discussion. I personally
gather
think the
that.
building could be saved, but at the cost of saving it would make it beyond the legal requirements for that address.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a limit on what you can spend on a building in the floodplain. And that is not only floodplain, I think it's a ponding area.
Yeah.
Well, it is in a special flood hazard zone.
Yeah.
So we would have to meet those requirements.
Yeah. Sounds as if some of the basement foundation walls are in disrepair too. I read so much of it, I thought, where have I
Yeah,
read that
3 out of
before?
the 4 foundation walls are bad.
Okay.
The only one that's good is on
Excellent.
the backside, I guess, the east side.
Okay.
It's the only one that was good. And the structural engineer thought maybe that one was saved because there was a porch on there at one time. But when we bought the house, the porch was not there.
That was underwater a good long time
Yes.
in 93. I remember that.
Now, we saved the house next to it that we live in. the little-
Yeah,
So we got that almost finished there.
that looks nice.
So-
Went by and looked,
You gotta
that's
do a few
looking
more
really
things
nice.
to it.
Yeah.
I noticed there was some structural work done on it.
Yeah, we
Studs
tried
in
to
the
save it
background.
before.
Have you got any type of bids, what it'd take just to save the home?
Well, I called Hillotech, and he said we wouldn't touch it. You know,
Wouldn't even-
fix
They
the
wouldn't even
foundation.
touch it.
I go, well, can I have a letter from you or something? He goes, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just letting you know
Right.
that is not savable. All right,
It's kinda-
And like we
don't wanna
said,
mess
I
with
had
that.
Cody Donzi in to give me a
Right.
bid on trying to work on the foundation, and he said that it was beyond repair.
In reading this, it says that it was, at one place it said it was built in 1920, and then a later reading it said it was 35 or 39 that the house was
No,
built
the
in.
house next to it is 1935. I think that house next door was the little brick house there, that concrete, or that,
Tile.
what do you
Yeah.
call it, cedar, whatever it's called.
No, it's.
I think
it's
that was
the-
built in 35.
The ceramic brick,
Ceramic.
Ceramic brick, yeah.
right,
that-
and
that
that
was-
was built from the leftover bricks from when they were building up the, junior high,
The middle school.
Oh, okay,
is
You
what
look-
they
you look at
used
the
to
walls
build
of
that.
it, you go inside the hallway,
yeah,
the wall, that's.
Yeah.
So that's approximately one. Supposedly, this house here is 1920s.
1920.
How long have you owned the home?
6 years. And we noticed there was probably a fire on the right side of the back side of the house, so
In the
it
kitchen
actually
area at one
collapsed
time.
about, what was it, 5 inches, 5 and a
No,
half inches?
13 inches.
13 inches. We got it up to about 1.5 inches to where it should be level. And then we said, we better call a structural engineer, so we did that. And,
Well, it
said, you know
sounds,
what, I don't,
it sounds like it
it's all
needs-
rotted, it's all,
Yeah,
it's dangerous, it's not good.
yeah, that it would be included as a dangerous building, and that,
I asked the fire
Did it-
department if they wanted to do some training, no, and they said,
And they
No,
even
they
turned
don't
us
wanna go
down.
there either.
Well, they used to do that, but insurance regulations now, you
historical
can't.
I said, well, you can,
Well,
I'll give you money, it ain't the money, I just want to, for training, because it's no good,
Will you
House
attempt
for
to
training.
demolish it
Yeah.
yourself, or will you
Yes,
do
yes,
a
sir.
contract?
We're gonna, probably half and half, we'll probably do part of it, and then have somebody do the rest.
Yeah,
Because
you've got an asbestos roof that's,
Yeah,
Right.
we gotta get that checked
Yeah.
out, see if that's asbestos, we don't know if it is. I got a piece of it, I gotta get checked out. So I'm thinking that, I don't know how to go about it, but I don't know what the procedures are, but either take the roof off first, in pieces, stack them up, and get rid of it, or, myself, or my family, or something, I don't know yet.
Yeah, there
But
are,
I think we need to take the roof off first, but I'm not, know the right procedures yet.
yeah, there are specific procedures for
Oh, yeah.
removing and disposing
But
of
if
asbestos.
it gets broken up, then it exposes the air,
Friable, yeah.
so I think we gotta take it
Gotta
off
bag it,
separate.
double
maybe.
bag it.
Yeah,
I gotta figure out how to do that.
but we'll have to have someone come in to do that.
If it has to be professionally, yes.
well, it sounds like it went almost to the point of being torn down in 96 or so, and that nothing but more years on top of that has gone on, and in some of the readings, it was talking about the 1930 race riots, and that they seem to discount this as being part of any of that here in St. Genevieve. I make a motion to allow them to demolish the building.
well, we always hate to see a building
We-
demolished,
yeah.
but in this
Yeah.
particular case, even to meet the requirements of the city law, it has to be demolished.
Yeah.
We can't take it lightly though, because we've got other houses in line that we're gonna fight very
Right.
stringently, so I don't think we ought to just,
Oh, well, I don't think we should just say,
Right.
sure, go ahead, but
I didn't have
after.
time to read it, but what's this historical significance of this home? Is it a contributing, or is it
It is
on
a
the register?
contributing building on the National Register District, not in the National Historic Landmark. I questioned the type of house that it was described. It was described as a craftsman bungalow.
Yeah.
And I questioned that when I started typing the description. I thought, wait a minute, this isn't a craftsman. I thought, well, maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Right.
And so I did a little survey. I called up a friend of mine who's head of the the Historic Preservation Department at SEMO. I called up the woman who reviews the National Register nominations at the state, and then I called up a friend of mine who's an independent historic preservationist in South Carolina. And I didn't tell them anything about the building. I just gave them a picture of the photo and said, tell me what type of house this is. And they all agreed it had colonial revival elements and some American folk house elements. Nobody saw a craftsman bungalow there. So,
No, I don't think so.
I don't know where that came from.
It seemed
really.
like there was some
Yeah.
doubt there.
So that's why I listed the elements of these 3 different types of buildings, so you could kind of decide for yourselves what kind you think. I think the significance a lot of it has been lost because it has been destroyed by the flood. It has been sitting since 1993. It has gone through a fire. The elements that are there, to me, speaks of a master plan folk of a Holland Holler type, which is not something that's uncommon in St. Genevieve. So it's not like it's the last type of house of its size, of its type. And the neighborhood in which it was originally built is mostly gone. So the surrounding neighborhood has gone. And that was the conclusion that the Landmarks Commission had come to during their review. I believe it was probably added because the owner at the time really did want to rehab it and perhaps wanted to get some tax credits in order to do that, and so the state was helping him. Obviously, we're not going to be going after state credits here, so I do not think that it would be frowned upon if the city or the Landmarks Commission allowed it to be demolished.
Well, I think your ordinance, the city ordinance, as such, the repair of the building would be over 65% of the appraised value, I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And based on that, we can't restore it.
Well, I think for the record, we should also say it's a hazardous building.
Yes. And on top of that, it is located in an I-1 industrial zone. In order for them to do any construction on it, they would have to get a special use permit or a variance from the Board of Adjustment with the city in order to do that. Because residential dwellings are not allowed in an industrial zone without variance. They had lost their non-conforming status when they lost majority of the house.
Yeah, just to prepare ourselves to say why we let this one get tore down, then we're going to.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've got enough information now that I can.
Well, this I feel is a different situation
Right.
than what we usually get into with just demolition by
Yeah, like
neglect.
to be said out loud.
This
for
is
the
not
public
neglect.
that's
This
here.
is a situation where we're running afoul of the federal and state regulations if we try to save it.
Yeah.
Are there any further questions? Yes, ma'am.
Can I make a comment regarding this house? My name's Sharon Hasty. Just for the public record, I know Ed, you're concerned because of the style and so forth. The decision to demolish is not taken lightly by these property owners. This was her dream house. I mean, that's why they bought this property with the potential of what it could be. And over the last 6 years, she has found that it can't be what she was hoping. So this is not a decision that they wanted.
I think we recognize that. We've seen the work that's been done there, and it's a sunk cost. I mean,
But for
they can
neighbors
recover
and so
nothing
forth,
from it.
Because this does come up for folks wanting to tear homes down, this is not one that they just want to tear down. This was one that they really wanted to build up.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
I think that's obvious that they've been trying to save it. So,
Is there a motion on this?
I made a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second? A second. A motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, I'll call the question. Those in favor of approving the application signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you for coming in.
And thank you.
And we do appreciate the effort you've made to try to save it.
Yeah, because we
I
do
wish we
hate,
could restore every house in this city.
yeah.
Yeah,
We do hate to
sometimes
see
they're
any of
just
them
too
go
far.
down.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
beyond repair right now.
I did some work for you about 4 years ago, and you told me your dreams about you're gonna move over in there, it's just get a little money saved up.
It's a
And then
cute-
when you started, I seen all your wind come out of you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a cute little, I mean, bones are there for
Oh,
a
yeah.
cute little
Yeah,
building.
you know, I think gonna put an extension on the back,
Yeah.
put like a panel on it.
I think it was even leaning, and then you guys straightened it back up.
Yeah, we straightened it back up and it's just
Okay, then,
Okay.
not cooperating,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
it's a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
the next is an application for a business sign at 102 South Fourth Street.
No, 185 Market. We did 102.
Yeah,
We did
185.
102.
Okay, that's right. So we have the one at Market, 185 Market.
You got what you need.
Hi, my name is Janice. I own a little shop in town at 185 Market, and I wanted to hang a sign up, something that would be creative and obvious. So I had this really cool idea. My shop is a lot of cottage decor, and I thought this would be really cute and visible and original and sort of go with the look of the town. You know, not be, I want something different, and I don't know. So this is what I came up with anyway. So what I did is, there's a huge metal, do you guys have a picture? There's a huge
Yeah.
metal bar that hangs on the
Yeah.
top. I put a board underneath the suitcase and two bolts. And so once I get this painted, I'll glue this shut so it'll be sturdy and it'll stay together. And that way the water won't get in. And then I'll hang it with straps up top, so that's my plan. That way it's not swinging or turning or anything like that. It'll be painted on both sides, so you'll be able to see it, you know. A lot of traffic down, down Market, but not a lot, more driving traffic, not so much walking. And no one knows where I'm at. So I think this will be a good visible sign all the way down to the visitor center, all the way down to the other side. So that's my plan.
There was a sign there for a previous business. Is this about the same size as that
I
sign?
have no idea. I've never personally had a sign myself up there. I've been in there since December, and I've never had a sign up there. I couldn't decide what I wanted to do,
Yeah,
so.
I can't even remember what the last sign was there, but I do remember that we.
I believe it
approved-
was something about a clock,
Oh, yeah, clock shop.
clock shop.
Yes, yeah, and we had approved that sign.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, that bracket has two guide wires that come off that aren't hooked to it. Janice, do you plan on hooking them back up?
I will ask Jack, because he is the landlord, and I don't know what was up there, and I don't know how it was connected, so I would not climb up on a ladder and hang this up myself. I would have Jack do it, so it would be done right. He would know how to do it and how to hang it, you know what I'm saying, so. There's floodlights outside that can shine on this, so that would also be something that would attract, I mean, there's not a lot of business right now, but when there is business, I want some of that business.
Sure.
I'm off the main drag. Like I said, my road is mostly just people that are driving, so, and being next to the Lions Park, I think with the events and stuff, that I'd be able to really be able to do some serious business down there. With something like this, that is it's so catchy, it's gonna attract people, they're gonna wanna
Yeah.
know, because people
I
don't
think it's
even know I'm
very
there.
creative.
Yeah, it
I
is.
think it's very
That's-
creative.
And I do
Yeah.
folk art too, so this is, with the cottage decor and the folk art, I think this is a good draw for people to say, what's in that shop, so.
My only question, not that I've been planning to ask a question, but luggage of that nature isn't intended to be exposed to the elements.
And I spray painted it first, so this isn't the original color. So I spray painted it first, and I painted this on, and then after I get all together, I'm gonna see it like shellac it. That way it's sturdy and can hold up in the weather.
Let me tell you, to go look at the sign at the Kiel Schwent house around the corner that we're gonna replace, and look at the effect of the weather on that.
Okay,
Maybe just, you know.
okay.
Just see
Yeah,
what
whatever
it's-
I don't want it falling apart, and I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
I don't want to be up there 2 months again painting another suitcase. So whatever kind of, I can put, but the spray paint alone is one coat, several coats of spray paint, but that's the first start. And then once I paint the letters on the other side, then I'm really good, and I'm gonna seal it shut with like silicone and glue gun the lock shut. But I wanted to show you first that I put the support in of the board and how I put the nuts at the top, so it would have some way to hang. That way it's not hanging here and spinning and turning and stuff.
Seem to be
I think
doing-
the marketing concept is
It's
great.
great, yeah.
My only concern is the maintenance, how long it will last,
Right,
and I think
But,
That's the city's problem.
well, no, that's her problem, if
Well,
it doesn't last.
I'm sure they'll
you
tell
know.
her to take it down
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Ed.
in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, if it's
That's my fault.
tangy,
And in
yeah.
3 weeks, it'll better have a bunch of suitcases.
Are you gonna epoxy the handle up so it looks like a suitcase?
I'd like to, yeah,
Okay.
that's the whole idea. So it isn't just a box.
Right.
That's the whole
Yeah.
idea. There's no reason this can't be tied up as well, hanging, you know what I'm saying?
From that bracket.
This can be tied
yeah.
as well, and this one could be tied up also. So that's the plan, yeah. I
Right.
love the idea that it's a suitcase. I don't want
Yeah.
it to just look like a sign bopping around.
Yeah,
I like
I
the
think
idea that it's, you're not gonna be able to see the top, but I think this is essential. You see
Yeah.
that it is a suitcase.
yeah.
And also it fits in the whole idea that most of the shoppers in downtown are travelers. So I like that
Yeah.
idea with the Ginny's Cottage, because they're travelers. They're coming to town to stay in bed and breakfast, they're coming to shop, whatever. So
Carpetbaggers.
I like
But if it
the
does
whole-
come to disrepair, you're willing to fix it.
It might look cooler if it's falling apart.
Unlike historical carpetbaggers, you
Yeah.
need money behind it.
Yeah,
So you're willing, you realize you may need to fix it down.
yeah, that's,
Yeah.
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 Okay.
I got 3 more.
Yeah.
You're
Back up
prepared,
here.
aren't you?
Yeah. Maybe the next one will be a plastic one, or
Yeah.
something like that. But this is what I had, and I thought this would be so cool, because it's so vintage.
It is, it's very cute.
That's good.
And if you run out, if that one goes bad, I can probably find a half
Right.
dozen in
Yeah,
my.
everybody
I don't think I even have
just
a
start
plastic
leaving them
one.
on my
Yes.
steps, for backup.
And I'm
I'll
not
make a
real
motion.
comfortable with her calling luggage that I used not too long ago.
Yeah,
vintage.
vintage. We're all getting to that age,
Really,
that we're all
never had
vintage.
Yeah.
Tanzanite all the way.
Yeah. Well, I think
Gorillas can
it
jump
meets
on
the
my leg.
requirements of the signs, and I don't have any problem with that, especially if she knows that if it doesn't hold up, you'll
Right,
have to redo
right.
something. So I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve, is there a second? We have a second. Any further discussion? If not, we'll call the question. Those in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you,
Good
everybody.
luck, and we
Thank
hope to
you.
see it stay up there.
Now that you know where I have my storage, I'll
Yeah.
shop.
She's using her television time
Yeah,
to
no
its
kidding.
best advantage.
That concludes the applications that we have to consider this evening. But we do want to review a retreat that the committee, or the commission had, and some of our 2012 objectives. And each one of the commission members has a copy of this, and I'll entertain any discussion that you might have.
I'd like to commend Brenda for putting this so succinctly in this form.
I'd like to add my thanks to that too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's done well. The whole presentation here this evening was nicely put together.
I didn't see anything that popped out at me as,
do we feel as a commission that these are objectives that we can attempt to achieve in 2012?
That's my endorsement.
Yep, mine too.
Yeah, I think it's a good summation of the meeting. And
I guess I'll
to-
just repeat what I said after the retreat, when we talked about presentation of this. Brenda said she'd type it up and there you go, and I said, well, maybe you could type it up and distribute it for approval and proofing and comments, which we got, and then I said,
There was-
okay.
Yeah. That
I'm
was-
done.
Yep.
I'd like a little more time to go over it. Like I
Yeah.
just got it 2 days ago, and I think
Well-
it's pretty important.
Oh, you didn't get a copy of it
Well, I did.
emailed to you?
No.
No, okay.
But I think it's something that we need to keep, each member needs to keep and periodically look at the thing.
Yes,
because
sir.
it-
Yes, sir. I think
as the months go by, it becomes very easy to lose sight of the objectives.
I agree.
And to try and help to keep it on schedule, we want to make some committee appointments. Now, I'm not going to try and make appointments this evening, but I would like to go over what I think, well, there are some of my ideas on what committees would do. And this is open to discussion, and it's not a firm thing, it's just, they jotted some ideas. And the first one would be, oh, did you pass them around? Okay.
We need another one, Brenda.
Now, the first committee would be the Boundary and the Contributing Structures Committee. And that first part of that is well underway. Brenda has it underway, confirming the boundaries. Of two of the districts will, I don't think, be a problem. The Landmarks district, we all know, is held up somewhat. But we do need the boundary description of those three historic districts, and we need them firm and without question,
I agree.
this is what the boundaries are, and then the listing of what contributing structures are within that. And I'd also like to see, and this is a big step, and I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I'd like to adjust the guidelines to the relative importance of the structures.
Oh, that is a big step.
So,
Yeah.
right now, we're working with a one-size-fits-all. I mean, we've
Yeah.
got some 18th century structures that are nationally important and internationally important. And we have some stuff from 1950 that's not that important. It all contributes to the historic district, and I'm not saying we forget it, but I'm saying that I think we can come up with a different approach to some of the buildings.
That's good. That's a really big job, but boy, if we
Well,
could do it.
it's done
yeah.
in, England does it. I
Yeah.
mean, the British, they,
Well, actually, I think what we've done in the past is we've done it subjectively and knowing what we were doing and what the
Yeah.
relative
Right.
contribution was. And I
Right,
think
right.
what the chairman is talking about is having a
Putting that in.
systematized
Yeah.
approach to it.
Yeah, and that's where I think it becomes difficult. We all know that as items come in, we review the property, we review what they want to do to the property, and we apply the guidelines as appropriate, but setting
Yeah.
it down in writing as to
that's,
what.
yeah,
goes-
that's the third item I
Yeah.
have here, and that is guidelines. We've
Yeah.
got to, we talk. We can get into some long, involved discussions, but we never leave them with anything on paper that
Yeah.
we can put to the Board of Aldermen and have approved.
Yeah,
We've got to see if we can't get something that is logical, that is doable, and that will satisfy more of the community than is being satisfied with our present procedures. I think we can do it. I don't think it's going to be easy, but
You know, we have the map, we have each house individually
And-
numbered, we have a record of that, we have a record of the bungalow or a cottage and the date it was built in
Yeah.
general, so I think, you know, the difficulty is if it gets to be opinions, but I don't think it'll even get to be that, so page by page, we could just work through it. It's like this house they want to tear down now, if we could look up number 206 on the map and it tells us what it is, and then we're all,
Yeah.
there's no arguing that part.
And maybe
A
that's
lot
it,
quicker.
maybe it is tackling, 10 pages this week and 10 pages the
Yeah,
next week.
yeah, because we've
and-
already got the map, we've
Yeah.
got the houses numbered.
And, yeah.
It's tedious, but that's how,
Yeah,
that's how you do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right there.
yeah.
I think, somebody experienced, Brenda has quite a bit of experience with labeling them. I don't, I'm learning. I just don't want to, when we start tearing down houses, that's pretty serious here. Because
Yeah.
I know a lot of people just sitting in the wings going, okay, they okayed it, and it's coming down on us. So we have to make a public statement to the people who are sitting here.
Well,
Why we're going to let this one, and I think Brenda saying it's sitting on itself.
as we're reviewing those guidelines too, we need to consider, and I'm not saying we need to approve without thinking, but we do need to consider some of the newer materials, particularly on some of the, I'm not saying less important, but the newer structures that are in the
Less historic
National
or-
Register.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got to.
Oh.
Yeah.
We've got to.
We'd never approved vinyl windows.
Yeah.
And I think your suggestion, if we could think in terms of approving sash, so long as they don't destroy or change the framework for the windows,
Right.
it's reversible then. And that's, I think, one of the key things that we want is not to prevent people from doing things, but if they do it, it has to look good now, but it also should be reversible in a historic district. And even vinyl siding, I mean, if we had the right rules, I mean, you don't take the corners off and slap something ugly on it, you don't take the window trim away,
You don't wrap it in
Yeah.
aluminum.
you don't cover up decorative shingles that are there. But you could still do a good contractor can do it. He can make it look good. He can make it look like you replaced the wood, but you didn't destroy all the rest of it.
Yeah.
We have to say that.
But it's not gonna be easy to put down on paper. And even after we put it on paper, then we are not the approval authority.
Right. The Board of Aldermen needs
The
to.
Board of Aldermen is, and we've got to do something that we can present to them and it makes sense to them. We need to consider, I think we need to do a much, much better job on our public relations than we
Yeah.
have done.
I agree.
And that's something that in the 30 years I've been in town, we've never done it right.
So, I'm initiating or have initiated a city newsletter, and Brenda will have space in that
Yes.
newsletter every quarter. So certainly the newsletter can be used as a part of your campaign.
Well, we have to let the general public know what we're doing. We also have to become familiar what the city agencies, the other city agencies and commissions are doing, so that what we're doing dovetails with what the rest of the government is doing.
Yeah. Just as Ed was asking, inquiring whether it has met other requirements, we should know by the time that it gets to us
Oh, yes.
that somewhere along the line, this has met requirements, and it's coming to us because no one else has approved it yet. So it'd be good to know that, to know, what has gone to somebody else first, or if we're the first stop in that train, and maybe it'll be different every time, but.
And the other item that I had in this list that I jotted down was the problem with maintenance. We've got to work carefully with the other branches of city government, so that we don't step on their toes, but that the items are identified, and somehow there is action, positive action taken to get something done to correct them. We've had too many demolitions by neglect.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Right.
It's been
Yeah.
sad, the good buildings we've lost to
Really?
that.
The city just came out with those 9 nuisance houses in that, and a few of them are historical value. I've got one across from mine. They went through a lot of trouble. Brenda went through trouble. They did PowerPoint. They made a beautiful little brochure. And I think they've yet to send out letters with the fines on them. Now, the nuisances one, I think they've taken care of. But the house across from mine, the metal's still flapping off it. The rain's still raining down in this 18th century home,
Yeah.
vertical log, found, you know,
Yeah.
Well, one of the issues we have to address, and I think this is a good time to discuss it.
Yes.
We have the public nuisance ordinance, and that allows us to order property owners to bring their property up to the current building codes. And if they fail to do so, then we cite them for violation of the building codes, and we turn the information over to the prosecutor, and it's prosecuted through the municipal courts, and then the judge orders them to fix their property.
Right. Have you
And
taken-
failure to do so can lead to fines and all sorts of problems.
Have you taken any of the houses that?
Well, that happens, that doesn't happen with dangerous buildings.
It doesn't happen with the dangerous
The
building?
process for dangerous buildings is there's a declaration that the building is dangerous. And that declaration means there's an imminent threat to public safety. Now, it's cross
And what
street
does
from you
imminent
is.
mean? I'm kind of lost here. What does imminent mean?
It
Immediate?
happened tomorrow
Exactly.
or today.
So it needs action now, right?
But-
Is it imminent?
But once we declare a building as a
Imminent
dangerous
danger.
building,
Yeah, which is right
and
now.
we order the property owner to mitigate the danger, the only option left for us after their failure to comply is to intercede and remove the structure, remove the danger.
Oh,
That's always the danger of the dangerous
Yes.
building
And,
ordinance.
and that's the conundrum here. is
Okay.
There may be buildings in St. Genevieve where that's perfectly acceptable, but for buildings such as the one across the street from you, that's not the desired outcome.
No.
no.
But that is what the
But-
city has authority to do.
But way I look at it, there's a house, not the one I'm talking about, this is another house down from mine, a 2-story brick home, had, 2 months ago, I stopped by here and said the stained room's slipping, the roof's slipping, the wind's catching it. Well, after 2 weeks after I came down there, I went and picked a 30-pound sheet of tin out of the yard. Now, that's a danger, you know.
Yeah.
The homeowner, if he would have been pushed with fines, he'd have said, either I gotta sell this thing or I gotta fix it. And then it would have been sold. But now he wiggled around and took care of it. The roof's still flapping, the pieces of steel are still flying off that roof. I don't think the city does that little part about getting these fines on them because, and then the house next to mine, the man owns, he has no
Well,
intention of fixing it up.
I
the city
I
staff
agree
gets
with
to
you.
do is cite them.
Cite them, right, and then, okay, you cite them, and then it goes to our attorney, and he doesn't prosecute it. It's an imminent danger now, this is immediate, this isn't
Well, that's a
tomorrow.
dangerous building, that's a different,
Yeah,
two different things going on.
Yeah.
No, both of them are dangerous.
Well,
We got metal flapping on all of them, Brenda knows. I mean, you go down right now, you hear this piece of metal slamming. And then both houses have, and one's 2 stories high. I mean, I don't want it to be like Larry Marlar, sit there, I hate, you know, the brewery being a danger to the city for 2 years, and then we finally tear it down. One of these days, we're gonna get caught. And it's gonna come off an historical house that we were kind of responsible for, I feel, keeping it up to grade.
Well, it's one of those things, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying, it's just that we can't solve that problem tonight. But it's something we do have to, internally, we've got to come up with some guidelines. This is the
Well, we
path
can
we
come up with all
follow,
the guidelines
and we've
we
got to
want.
work with the city.
I think we need to demand that what we've brought up already, something from the alderman to come to us and say, this is what we're doing. You know, I mean, now it's going on 3 months that this roof has been flapping on this house. Now, the rain, next time we get a big storm out of the east, it's gonna get under that roof and it's gonna rip it off. And
I don't disagree with you, but what is your solution tonight?
Yeah.
that we get in front of have the alderman come to us, sit down here and tell us what they're doing about it. They've got all the paperwork, and then they can dull out on it. When I got on this committee, the landmarks, I blamed them for a lot of things that they were not responsible for. Our building permits are, in my opinion, aren't being done right. I've got one right here. On March 8th, a lady come down and wanted to put vinyl siding on her whole house on Market. It's in the historical district, okay? Put vinyl on, all around her whole house. The same day she applied for it, it was approved. Cover with vinyl siding, she wrote. Said she was gonna do it herself. Had a contractor come out of town do it. It was approved. It didn't come in front of us.
What date was that?
March 3rd, March 8th, I mean. Didn't even come in front of us. I found out about it because some of the other homeowners close to her were saying, well, they're vinyl siding their house, how'd they get away with it, Ed? And I said, well, I'm on that board, let me.
Is it in the historic district?
It's in, yeah.
Is it a contributing building?
Where was that at?
How do we know? It wasn't brought in front of us. It should have been brought in front of us. It's a $6,000 job, 1260 Market. And I just want to know if the board feels that that's the procedure that we want to do, because we're going to catch heck that we allowed this vinyl siding on this house. And not only did they vinyl side it, they tore the gutters off, they put the soffits on, they tore a garage down in the back.
Well, how did this,
Yeah, how did this happen?
get approved?
Not by us.
I reviewed it.
What?
I reviewed it.
So somebody other than the board took it up.
Yeah, but I thought, well, and this is not to get an argument started, but I thought your authority on that type of thing was limited to maintenance.
Yes, that's what I thought. I mean,
If it's within the guidelines. This was within the guidelines.
I was going to ask the other commissioners if they thought this is the way we want it run, you know, that,
So it's up to you if you want me
no.
to do things within guidelines or just maintenance, but just maintenance does not require a certificate of appropriateness.
It's in
I
the
know it
historic
doesn't.
districts, it's outside structure.
Maintenance does not.
Right.
This is more than maintenance.
We've said, go ahead, approve the minor maintenance jobs, just let us know what you've done. But when it gets to be more than maintenance, when it's repair or general,
Vinyl siding a whole house is not maintenance.
No.
I haven't looked up the definition, but I'll almost bet my house on it. I just want to know if the other commissioners say, Ed, calm down, this is the way it is. And then I'll say, okay, you know. But I don't think it's right. We just approved vinyl siding of the whole house in the historical district. They removed the gutters, they redid soffits, not just vinyl siding.
well, how, you say, but it's okay by the guidelines.
I approved just the vinyl siding itself. So what she said she wanted to do was vinyl siding. To cover.
Yes.
The whole house, $6,000 worth.
That's why she needed a permit.
By Jean Crump's house.
Right, but she needed to come in front of us so we could at least defend ourselves when people come up and say, hey, you know, you let this house get vinyl sided. And I can't. No.
So what makes this house
Okay,
not
but
contribute?
the historic status right there decreases the seriousness of it. It's not surveyed in the National Historic denomination. It was surveyed by the University of Missouri, but that does not carry any weight in our guidelines.
Correct.
I thought we were gonna try to simplify it, you know, that it was simplified. I was understand that maintenance, the zoning commissioner, whatever, you know, the person falls under can make those decisions. When it comes to vinyl siding a whole house in the historic district, even, no matter what the contribution of it is, it's in the historic districts, it's more than maintenance, it's vinyl siding, it's visible, that we should at least been approved or disapproved, which it's a beautiful job. I'm not knocking that, it looks good, and in my opinion, I think it should have been vinyl sided, I think it looks great. If we're gonna educate the public, we're gonna have to be able to protect ourselves to say why she could say it couldn't and mine can't. You know what I'm trying to say?
I see what you're
I like the idea,
saying,
I
yeah.
love vinyl siding for this project, it looks good, the man did an excellent job, but I found out about it by somebody calling me, and me driving up and looking at them right when they got done, you know. And then I came down and got the building permit, and It says self, they had a contractor do it. It doesn't say nothing about gutters. So how, they might have did the windows too. We had no control over this.
Isn't there a paragraph or a sentence in the guidelines that says, or in the ordinance that says anything over $5,000 requires a,
There's a lot there that says
Yeah.
this is wrong. I just wanted to see what the other commissioners thought, you know.
not a building permit. I think it requires coming through the,
Yeah,
Right.
through us.
and
yeah.
this cost over 5,000, right?
6, it even states it right on the paper.
Right, it requires a certificate of appropriateness, which is what I issued. And you have a copy of that attached with this.
So
that's-
we have a copy of appropriateness from you.
I am not saying it's right or wrong, I don't know
Well, my
this quickly, but I've
understanding-
never known a certificate of appropriateness in St. Genevieve to be approved without board act or committee act.
Well, that was my understanding, that if a review was inside the guidelines, that I could issue an administrative approval certificate of appropriateness, and I would report to you monthly on these.
That was approved several years ago. Did Brenda have that authority?
And where do you
Well-
draw the line? Where do you draw the line
And maybe
when you
that's
say
what
If it's within
the
landmarks?
discussion is.
When landmarks is just
What
beyond
we
their
need to
reach.
know is what is our position now,
Yeah,
and,
I mean, we would be here all the time if she wasn't able to approve some of those things. And like Ed said, I mean, the vinyl helps that house.
Yeah, it's
as many arguments as we've had about vinyl siding, I don't think vinyl siding should go through without some review.
yeah.
I'm just asking
Now,
if everybody.
I
agrees
don't
that
want,
that's the
I don't
procedure.
think we want to see every little maintenance item that comes in,
Right.
and Brenda's
Right.
got a good handle on those things.
Yeah, if that's
But,
the procedure we're gonna go through, that's what I'd like to know. I didn't think
Yeah.
that's the procedure it should have went through. $6,000 of vinyl siding in the historical district can be decided by
Well,
the
then
planning.
let's make it that dollar amount and let's,
Well, the ordinance says
If it's
5,000,
5,000.
anything over 5,000 should come to us. And I guess what we need to say is that if we want to review everything that includes vinyl siding, putting on a vinyl siding as opposed to, just doing some repair work to it, that gets past maintenance, I agree, I know what Ed's talking about, maybe people are thinking if they put vinyl siding on their house, it's part of their maintenance, but to me, that would not be maintenance.
I don't think
I understood that any alteration to the exterior required a certificate of appropriateness.
That's exactly what I
Yeah.
thought too. I
Yeah.
thought vinyl siding is a big.
Regardless of
The question
cost.
here isn't
Right.
whether it requires a certificate of appropriateness. The question here is whether it should be administratively issued.
Right.
That's
Or
all,
whether it
that's
should
all
come
I'm
to-
asking,
come to us.
I was
Yeah.
embarrassed when they asked me about it, I didn't know. I thought I dropped the ball. I went home, looked at my email real quick and looked at all my stuff, because one of the other contractors in town was mad that another contractor came in and was doing the work, so he jumped me pretty hard about it. And I'm sitting on this committee and I don't know a thing about it. I got an email from when they wanted to ask about the windows, the house next to the church, but I didn't get nothing about this whole vinyl side of this house, and so went up and looked at it, and like I said, it's beautiful. I would like Brenda, I have all the confidence in the world in her to make these decisions, I really do, but are we gonna be involved? But we wouldn't even have to come here tonight, because she could have approved all the ones she heard, because they fall in the guidelines. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're trying to say.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're voting on,
And I have the same opinion. I mean, Brenda, I think has done excellent work.
yeah, it's not,
But in the many,
To
many
me-
years I've been around this stuff in St. Genevieve, I've never known that the
it's
coordinator had
very-
the authority to issue
no, that's all
a
I'm asking.
certificate of appropriateness without going through the commission.
Yeah. Maybe that's what we need to do, is spend some time.
Well, I think we
define
need
exactly-
to, I think we need to tighten up our review
Yeah.
of these things so that we know precisely what we're doing, so Brenda knows precisely what we're thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah, she could
Because
approve.
it's not fair to her, and we'll get all kinds of gaps.
Oh, yeah.
oh, yeah.
I'm getting it because I'm a contractor in town, so they come to me about what I'm doing, and then this was brought up, and I just thought, man, I should have known. I should have known, I'm on Landmarks, it's the vinyl siding, this is public information, anybody could have come down and just tore this up, you know.
Okay, that's something, that's an issue that we're going to have to address with the committees. Now, I don't want to make committee appointments as such tonight. What I would like to have you do is take a look at this list, indicate where your interests are and where you think you could do some work, and come to Brenda with what parts you would like to work with. Then we'll try to get the committees formed this week, by the end of the week, and get started on some of this work.
Okay.
I'd like to make a statement.
What?
Yeah, I want to make a statement, just kind of.
Certainly.
I can't ever pass the opportunity to speak. After all the emotion of the joint meeting that we had with the Board of Aldermen, meetings in your ward, other things that have happened, I think this is a very rational and reasonable response to the concerns that I heard expressed in all of those various places. And it's important work, because I think this resolving these issues will go a long way towards improving the public relations of the board. So I want to thank you for producing it.
We just have to do that. We can't operate in the city without having the trust of majority of the population. I mean, it just.
Yeah.
You could have done nothing. You didn't, so it's great.
Thank you.
But that's what I would like you to do, if you could, is come in to Brenda with what you would like to work with, and then we'll try, from that information, we'll try to form a committees and
Okay.
see if we can't get them going.
Excuse me, but in the meantime, getting back to, not to belabor this by any means, I just mean to be kind of a closing point, but in order not to hamstring the process, can we continue to agree that the city, through Brenda, has the administrative authority to make some decisions like this, but at the same time notify the commissioners? and
I
hold
feel
them to
that
their
she
objection?
should have authority to approve maintenance.
Well, maintenance doesn't need approval, though.
All I'm
Doesn't-
suggesting is that when Brenda makes an administrative
but-
ruling, that she notifies the commissioners of that ruling. At the
But
time.
what Brenda has is the authority to make the decision, this is maintenance or this is repair.
Okay.
And if it's maintenance, she has the authority to approve it. If it's repair or alterations, that's another question, and we have to resolve that with the board.
Yeah.
Well, in the interim, how would you
In
like to
the
direct?
interim,
How
I'd
would
like
you like
to
to direct Brenda to act?
You'd like to what?
How would you like to direct?
I would
Brenda?
like her to do the maintenance and then tell us at each meeting, at the end of each meeting, those items that she has approved.
Okay.
That way we keep,
And not to issue any certificates of appropriateness without your approval.
yeah, that's right.
I think it's already said it.
Well, then we might as
Or
well
deny.
just leave it at monthly meetings. Because I really don't want to sit in front of my computer, all day, trying to figure out in my own mind, without consultation of the other commissioners, how I feel without other input, and render, I think our discussions are valuable and constructive.
Yeah.
And to just individually get emails and say, well, that looks good to me, or, heck no. I don't think that has the same value as either a judgment based on standards that we all agree on, that are, as Frank is describing, whether it's maintenance or whether you use a dollar value parameter, what have you. But I think that we need to have a system of monthly meetings and administrative review. Now, if there needs to be some strictures on administrative review, or if they need to be looked at or tightened up, we should do that.
Well, in tonight's meeting, this apparently went through the vinyl siding, went through as a certificate of appropriateness
What you need.
without us looking at it. And we get 3 signs that are, or 2 signs that are relatively minor
Right.
issues, And we spend,
Yeah, suitcase.
we spend an awful lot of time arguing about those.
Yeah.
No, the difference was contributing buildings versus non-contributing buildings and the district it was in. Meaning the core.
Well, I hate to get in too much discussion on it because I don't fully understand the parameters of this one with the vinyl. If the building is not in the historic district, if it's not a contributing structure.
Okay, so for the time being, what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm misinterpreting, Brenda should not issue administrative certificates of appropriateness,
Until the monthly meeting.
except as
So we have a vote
discussed
on it.
and appointed by this board. And sometime between now and then, you may or may not choose to better define her authority in that regard.
Yeah.
But since
Yeah.
it isn't,
Are you setting a dollar figure though, guys?
I
Or are
read
you
the
saying
bylaws. It's
anything
pretty
that's getting a little
self-explanatory.
The dollar figure, I believe, is in the ordinance.
The dollar figure is already in
Right,
the
so we're saying
ordinance.
only over $5,000, nothing under 5,000, right?
I don't think.
It's
You
the
could
next-
break a
that's the
job
next-
up
Yeah.
to,
If you read in here, you'll hear everything you want to know. It's already been written 10 years ago.
It's on the last sentence on a page.
Yeah, it's all in here. It explains what maintenance is and repair is.
On the
And to
right-hand
get a
side.
certificate of appropriateness, it
Yeah, I'm
has to be
saying it's
voted.
already on the books, that anything under 5,000 she can do, correct?
No.
that's not what I meant to
No.
say. That's what
No.
it sounded like. No, I think that there are $100 changes that have impact.
And you can put windows in for 400, 500, 2,000. That's a long way from 5.
Yeah.
And we don't need to be here, is what
Well,
I'm saying.
you can
6
change,
grand.
you can change a 4/4. You can change a 4/4 window to a 1/1. That would be inappropriate, and that has insignificant cash value. I certainly agree that anything over a set limit should be discussed. But as the city administrator was saying, I think we need to,
It's,
I don't think we need to throw out the baby with the bath as far as administrative rulings go. I think there's a place for that.
I think that what it is makes a big difference, how Ed was saying, if it was remodeling or renovation, those are huge. Just a fence in the back is strict, or clearly
it just
stated
happened to
in
be
here what
that
it
word
would be.
vinyl that got
Yeah,
me attacked.
vinyl
You know
is-
what I mean?
that sets everybody
I
off.
think the dollar amount everybody's talking about is in the interior of the home, which you need a building permit if you're doing $5,000 worth of work inside the home. Now, that's how
That
it
has
works.
nothing to do with landmarks.
That's
Yeah.
exactly, so
Yeah.
it doesn't give her no right to, to give.
That's a city building.
Right, and if you read how you get it, a certificate of appropriateness, I think it's under a vote. I think that's how you get it, a vote from a quorum of the commissioners, not given by somebody that's not even
So-
on the commission.
So we're allowing her to decide what is, what is maintenance and what is normal. Any certificate of appropriateness needs to come to us. And if it is something-
That's the way I understand
No,
the
it's-
system, and I think it's the way it should go but I think it's something we need to address fairly rapidly and get
Yeah,
firmed up.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll pull it right out
That
here, I'll
is-
bring it to the next meeting.
Because
where it states
if Brenda has authority on maintenance items, and she reports to us what she's approved, then it'll run quite smoothly. If there's something that we don't agree with, we'll say so. And they don't do that one again.
Yeah,
That's what-
yeah.
Which I think is where we were a half an hour ago.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So that's why I say I think,
Because I would venture to guess that Brenda has made many administrative decisions on this commission's behalf to save us the time
Yes,
to
yes.
discuss suitcases and whatnot. Not that I think suitcase was inappropriate by any means.
No.
But no, I think that was an aesthetic issue right in the heart of the historic district. It was extremely important to come before us. But as I
And
said, there have been
signs
a lot of
can be a
things. Sure.
big
sure.
deal, and that's why signs come to us.
Well, I was trying to think what we wouldn't approve, what she could have brought forward to us that we wouldn't approve. We just approved a suitcase. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? You see what I'm standing here?
That's gonna become the standard.
Years to come.
It is gonna be.
Well, that one girl had a suitcase.
I knew
hanging
about
up
this
there.
for 2 weeks, and I just waited to see what we were gonna vote on, and we voted a suitcase. It's not
You
weather,
said yay.
yeah, I know she's gonna take it down in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? But we voted a suitcase. We're worried about UV rays on everything. We're worried about the quality of vinyl. We're worried about the longevity of stuff, and we just put a suitcase up on a thing in public.
For a temporary sign from a brace that's been there for several other signs have hung from that same
And it's
brace.
certainly reversible.
And certainly reversible.
I don't
yeah.
think she intended it to be temporary.
No.
No, I don't
it's
think
gonna
she
last,
did.
it's gonna be temporary.
Yeah.
Or frequently replaced.
Yeah, just having to replace the foundation sign that we had gotten approved 6 years ago, and it's already in need of replacement. But,
Okay.
okay, so,
Let's get on to the next item, which is plans for Historic Preservation Month. It's May, I guess.
Yeah.
That's coming quickly. Has there been any work done in planning this so far? Okay.
so what do we want to do, or do we,
Do you want to
some
appoint
ideas?
a committee, or did you want to do this together, or how did you want to do this?
Did you do anything last year? I don't
Okay.
remember anything.
So what do you think what actions would be appropriate at what level?
I'm trying to think what we've done in the past.
We'd put up posters and things
Yeah.
like that, which
Yeah.
are not very effective.
If I may, I'd certainly be in favor of drafting, of having the commission or the city draft a resolution on our behalf supporting National Historic Preservation Month. But beyond that, I think it gets into what has not yet been finalized at the committee, which has to do with public relations and education. And I would hate to jump off and
Do
with
something
less
that-
than 3 weeks to go, do anything that doesn't get through a committee's discussions of how to
One-
approach National Historic Preservation Month
One
2
thing
weeks
that
from now.
I think needs to be done at some point, it's rather short notice on it, but we hear an awful lot of complaints about we do nothing, that the city does nothing. But if you look back over the years, there's been a lot of preservation work done. There's been a lot of buildings saved, and there's been a lot of interest in St. Genevieve created by the historic
Yeah.
structures. And we have, I mean, starting with the Bolduc House, and look at all the other ones that have been bought.
And
People have come
restored.
in, the Southern Hotel, the Main Street Hotel, the house across the
Yeah,
street, the
yeah.
First Empire or Third Empire, whatever it is.
Well,
There's
that
just-
would be a simple thing, is to make a listing of those and to publicize those successful efforts at historic preservation, the buildings that were,
Yeah,
you know.
it's got to be done sensitively so that we're not breaking
Yeah.
our arm, patting our back.
yeah.
But I get tired of hearing that nothing good comes out of preservation, and yet there's been a lot that has happened because
Yeah.
of the historic structures in the community.
Absolutely.
We could highlight some of those achievements in the, what I just mentioned, like some kind of acknowledgement of Historic Preservation Month. And I'd say, just walking here this evening and walking around town, it's springtime, weather's turning nice. You walk up and down any of the major streets of the historic district, and the town looks great. I mean, there's been a lot of people
It's come a long
painting,
way.
descaling iron facades and painting them, cleaning. It's better than it's been in a long, long time.
Well, look at your
Personal
building. I
pride.
mean,
Yeah.
the normal response to that fire would have been to get rid of it.
Tear it down. my
And it's a
goodness.
real asset to the community now that it's there.
Well, maybe we can start a dialogue of, name your 10 most favorite preservation projects in the community and challenge the community to say, but what you haven't mentioned is the person next door to me that bought
Right,
this
that's a
house.
problem.
That, there's some very visible ones that we can easily name, such as the Inn, the Southern Hotel, Main Street Inn, your
Willie
house.
Hoffman's.
Willie Hoffman's house, my goodness,
Yeah.
what a recovery that was. But we might miss out on those jewels that somebody bought a house that was in really disrepair, not falling down necessarily, and have turned it into
Well,
a really,
Ed and I both
Oh, yeah.
had houses that should have been demolished.
We had houses like this man had.
Absolutely.
I've been
And
in his
we
house.
both
My house was
saved-
that bad.
We both saved our houses.
yeah,
Yeah, we don't want to overlook those.
right. But maybe we don't know about them. So that's why if
Well,
we
you
can,
approved them.
if we can,
Yeah.
Oh, let me
Yeah.
get the file.
We own.
Well,
Well,
we-
you approved me to have full
yeah,
vinyl windows.
we approve exterior projects, and so there's a lot of preservation going on interior that we don't know about. That.
Yeah, because that's somebody's personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have no say in
I
that.
kept all my trim the
That's-
same, molded it myself.
But
routed
that's your
it.
choice. I
Yeah.
mean, my house is completely modern. My house is 4 bedrooms and 2 baths, and my house is completely modern on the
Yeah.
inside.
Well, mine's modern too, but I kept
No,
the
but-
big
but-
trim, the big base.
Yeah, we kept big trim.
Yeah.
Big trim.
But it's a personal thing, and big trim.
Yeah,
But you can't dictate what somebody does inside their house,
yeah.
no matter what.
And I don't
'Cause
know
that's
that
their
I would
property.
want to.
Right.
I don't care to, but I'd like to know more about, we know about the big ones. We know about the ones that are very public and that, people have seen, they saw the Inn St. John burning and then they were invited in to see it, when it was restored. It's those other ones that we're losing and that you hate to keep, not that you don't deserve it, keep patting Jan on the back for what he did and Frank for what he's done and.
Well, I will
and-
tell you that Lulu wrote me the nicest card whenever we finished tuck pointing and painting the front of our building.
Yes.
It just got me.
Yeah.
I mean, little stuff like that, even just cards to people, I think would.
Yeah,
mean
Maybe
a
once a
lot.
month,
Thank
as
you
a
for
board
mowing
here,
your
we could pick a
grass.
house
Well-
out and write a few
I don't know
things,
about
put a little article in the paper, and have a column, set
I
up
think
a
you
spot
need
where
to
we could
give
do
more
that.
people pride.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to speak?
Could you?
You are, absolutely.
Loud.
You just don't get to vote. Right.
Nay. I think that when you take away and you set up these guidelines and you allow people to take pride in their work and you allow people to have more pride in St. Genevieve and it's not so nitpicky and bickering, then you'll have a community that will come together and take pride in their yards
And challenge each other to do the
That's
same.
right.
Yeah.
And there are
Yeah.
plenty of communities that challenge each other and,
Oh, yeah.
and who has the nicest yard, I mean,
How can you suggest a way to implement that,
well, I mean, there's plenty of activities that we participate in throughout the year and you give.
It would be much more appropriate if it was next May, not this May.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think
That's-
it's
yeah,
the
you don't
city
want
to
to
take
go
care
off
of
that
that,
hot
but,
here.
Yeah.
I think, that's what I think, I mean,
Yeah.
why
Kind of
can't-
yard of the month club kind of thing?
Yeah, like,
Yeah, we could highlight a house
yeah,
and then.
and did you get some kind of prize that sits in your
Well,
yard?
that takes money.
Yeah, get that.
Well, I'm talking
A
like
little sign that
pink flamingo
it's
or something, like
recognition,
recognition,
something that,
yeah.
oh, there's the yard of the month.
Well, like
Yeah.
a big fleur-de-lis or something.
Oh, yes, that would be
Yeah.
nice.
Well, those are, good ideas
And maybe poll your community, I mean, poll the community and be like, what do you want? How would you take better pride in your,
Alderman versus alderman to get their ward. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
okay, I have one for the historic.
Has the
district.
state
My people are easy.
any
What are you talking about?
recommendations?
But it's,
Preservation.
I think those are all really good ideas but it comes down to then
I haven't seen
You
who
know, some
does the
years,
picking,
posters and stuff.
who decides who is.
Well, those are just details.
It is
Down the road.
detailed, it is detailed, but it's just those details that we can all say, well, let's all go out and find, houses that are really looking charming and their yards are looking great.
Well, and you can't just, and you just cannot keep, no offense, Jan, You just can't keep honing in on the same houses. I mean, there's
No.
plenty of
Well,
houses
that's-
throughout this whole town.
Yeah, that was
That's the
my
whole
point
point.
exactly,
Yeah.
is that
Surprises
we
to have
know.
our houses in the paper, isn't that cool?
Yeah, well, but they probably need notice before you put the house in the paper, because, you know, most
Could be
people like to be
witness
notified
protection.
of.
Witness protection,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the idea seems to be a good one. Is it possible to do anything with it before
Between
May?
May, now in May.
I don't think this may. I
Let's-
think maybe you should draw up some, I think the first thing that you guys need to do is set your guidelines. I mean, you guys really need to hone in on what is right, what is not right, what you're gonna prove, what you're not gonna prove, and have it in black and white. And then there's no, well, the alderman said, or the
Well, I
landmark
understand
said.
that, but I understand that we're an entity of the alderman. We were created
Oh, yeah, we-
by the alderman.
We can't keep pushing blame one to the
No,
other, to
but
the
I'm
one to
just
the
saying-
other. You need to know what,
They have to know too, because
Yeah.
they can just
because there are,
override our decision.
to be completely honest with you, if there is something in my ward and I have an adamant person who says, no, I believe my house should have vinyl siding, and this is the vinyl siding that I want. All I have to do is poll my whole ward, and if I get the majority, I mean, that's gonna tell me what my ward wants. Whether it's I know you have landmarks
You
historic.
watch it now.
I am,
That was
but what
real
I'm
close.
saying is you cannot deny people that they are the people of the city. I mean, we can sit here all we want, but I mean, if we don't dictate to us what they want.
Well, we dictate what is better for the city, and it might not be for one individual, and they might complain.
But, and I understand what you're saying about who has approval, but you're talking about a house that sits in the middle of 50-sided houses, that
Each
there should
house
have
is
been,
individual.
Brenda should not have had a problem to approve that.
Each house is individual. But all I'm saying is we're gonna educate the public. We have to respect ourselves and have a set plan that we know, that I knew that Brenda gave that a certificate of appropriateness, that I knew it. I'm a commissioner. So when they come to me, is there a way around this? Because you said you didn't vote on it, you know. I'm not saying she's wrong. I got all the faith in the world. I think she could have took care of tonight, and we didn't need to show up. But I think we needed to show up for a $6,000 final job in a house in the historic district. And it's written in black and white that it should have been voted on by.
Item 8 on the new business is the plans for the Historic Preservation Month. And I think we discussed it to the point where we decided
We're
that
going around in circles.
we're too late
Yeah.
to get anything worthwhile done. The
Well-
next item on the agenda then is the citizen input, public participation, and I see our public
Toby?
back there is almost asleep.
Yeah.
He doesn't count,
No, you don't?
You
not
don't?
as a citizen.
And we'll move over then to item 8, other business, staff report, administrative reviews, anything?
I handed those out already.
Other business not on the agenda?
I'm gonna back up, if I may, we've discussed that, but Jan made a very good point, that one thing we can do for Historic Preservation Month is ask the Board of Aldermen to have a resolution identifying this May as National Historic Preservation Month, and maybe as our liaison, you could take that to the Board of Aldermen and ask them.
Are you just pushing it to us? I mean, what?
No, we're asking if
Okay.
you would
We couldn't do it without your approval.
yeah, give a resolution, just, one of those things like when the mayor signs the
Whereas,
thing
whereas,
saying,
whereas, now therefore.
yeah,
be-
proclamation that
Acknowledging.
May,
You want some kind of flower handed out
Sure.
at the crosswalks? and
well, it doesn't even need to be anything
Oh,
like
it's just
that.
read into the
Yeah.
minutes of the.
Just read
board
into the
meeting.
minutes of the
St.
board.
John's flag, half mast or something for that?
Yeah,
Come up with some creative idea.
yeah,
Be a photo op from paper.
Oh,
right,
Proclamation
there you
from
go,
the mayor
there
signed
you
it.
go, mayor signs it, and,
Get some
Good
pictures.
Frank
idea.
goes and
Make
gets his
it
picture.
is
yeah.
on short notice, it's something we
It's
might
something
be
we
able
can
to
do,
do.
and Jan had a good idea, and we can certainly
gotta do
implement
something.
that.
Gotta have something.
But if we leave here, it'll be the middle of May, and we'll say, oh, well, we lost that opportunity,
Yeah.
so,
That's what was still 2 weeks.
yeah, National Historic 2 weeks that are left.
That pretty well covers the items on the agenda. Does anyone have anything other to bring up? If not, entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for coming, and thanks for putting up with me.